This set of controls that I'm going to do, now this is definitely a set of controls that are for an advanced Scratch user. So if you don't consider yourself advanced, don't do these ones at all. So this is your turret controls. So if you want to make some form of turret game, now it's not a tower defense where they automatically shoot. We're not going to look at auto targeting. We're going to look at manual targeting, but we want a turret to be able to follow a mouse and then shoot in a particular direction. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to swap the cat out. He's not really any good for this one. And we'll get a turret. The drums make a good turret. Particularly, look, we'll shrink it down to 40 and we can put them down here and they make quite an effective turret. We'll stick a background in too. Choose a background and let's go. We'll go this alien one here. So we've got our turret happening here. Now, first thing we need to do is, like always, we need to build our game loop. Is finished, and we're going to set is finished to 0. Oh, not repeat. Repeat until is finished equals 1. So now we've got our game loop happening here. So now the first thing we want is we want our turret to follow our mouse. Well, that one's really simple. That one's just under motion, and we just simply point towards the mouse. Oh, I'm also going to put in my go-to and just lock it in that place, just so if it moves accidentally, it'll always start there. So there we go. Oh, and now you can see that the turret is looking 90 degrees out. So you can see I'm pointing straight up and it's looking to the left. The reason being is anytime we deal with rotation, the starting point always needs to be to the right. And now we can see it's looking fine. So we've got our turret happening here and it's following our mouse. Now we need to shoot. Shooting is where we get quite complicated because now we need to actually clone an object. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a bullet, and I'm just going to take this ball here and I'm going to shrink it down to, let's say 15. Oh, too small. Let's shrink it down to 30. There we go. That'll do. And I'm going to place it here in the middle of the turret because it's going to clone for me. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up a loop here. And it's going to, actually I do need to set up the full loop. So first thing I'm going to do is hide it because I don't want to see that one there, and I'm going to go to the position that it's in just to lock it in place there every time, and I'll set up the repeat loop here as well. So now this mechanic's going to go for as long as the game goes as well. So now we've got this happening, and now we want the bullet to always point towards the mouse as well. Now while we're not really going to see anything, it is there pointing towards the mouse. And it's important that it's always pointing towards the mouse because now we want to put in an if statement. If mouse is down, so we've clicked our mouse button, we want to shoot. So we want to clone myself. So now we're actually creating bullets each time we click the left mouse button. But now we need it to function as a bullet. So what we're going to do is when I start as a clone, I'm going to, now this time I can just use the forever. I'm going to forever move forward. Oh, and I need to unhide because it's going to bring the hide across. I'm going to show there. So now when I click, we can see we're now shooting. And we've got a couple of problems here. Obviously, number one, if I hold it down, we need to have a delay there. And number two, you can see along the top here, when they get up here, they're not dying. They just keep hitting the edge of the screen and trying to move off. So let's just quickly fix those two. So the first thing we need to do is have a delay in there. So I'm going to just simply put a wait inside my repeat, and I'm going to put it as 0.1. So there we go. So now we've got our delay in there and we're shooting away. Number two, now we need to fix the problem up here. So at the top here, we've got, let's just move this up and see. Okay, Y 170 gets me close to the top there. So I'm going to say 170 is what I want. So if, and we're going up in value. So on my clones, if is greater than 170, what's greater than 170? Well, the Y position. So if the Y position is greater than 170, what do I want to do? Well, I want to delete this clone. So now the bullet's going to go up, and when it gets to about here, it's just going to delete itself. Oh, that's because I don't have it greater than, I have it less than, so it's deleting automatically. Let's try that again. This time with the right numbers. Okay, and you can see there that they're finishing there. And now we've got ourselves a turret mechanic that we can use. You can see here that when they hit the side, they're doing the same thing. So, but I'd let you work that out. So obviously if you hit, the left side here, we want it to delete. And if you hit the right side here, we want them to delete as well. But yeah, you can have a play with that. And also down the bottom, we probably want to have, on the worst case scenario, if it happens to actually go out the bottom of the screen, what's it going to do? There we go. So that is your turret mechanics there.